Welcome everybody to this video tutorial for SWAT Calibration Helper version 1.0. My name is Pallav and I will be guiding you through this video on how to use this macro enabled Excel file that I prepared specifically for flow calibration of model outputs from hydrologic models. Although the name of the program is SWAT Calibration Helper, this macro-enabled Excel file can be used to check the flow calibration for models other than SWAT as well. Before heading on to the main tutorial for this video, I would like to speak briefly on why I made this macro-enabled Excel file. Currently, I'm working as research associate at the Asian Institute of Technology (AIT) in Thailand, and usually myself, my colleagues, and other researchers over here use a lot of hydrological models, and there are many of them, including me, who use the SWAT model for hydrological modeling. Me, along with my friends over here, use ArcSWAT as the GUI for running SWAT, and till now we don't have any SWAT doesn't have any uh, hydrograph calibration post-processing module for its GUI ArcSWAT. So usually all of us had to make our own customized kind of Excel file for the model calibration, and so this effort for making this macro enable Excel file was to make things a bit more systematic and give more range of options for model calibration, and provide more aspects of for calibrating the model apart from the flow only, and also to provide some useful tips for model calibration of SWAT as well as other hydrological models that can be for which this Excel file can be used. The second point is usually when we calibrate for flow or any other model outputs, we usually want to take a look or zoom in at a particular part of the graph. So in order to give that time range modularity, this Excel sheet provides that option as well. Number three is during the hydrograph calibration, usually a good practice is that we also look at uh, the fitting of the simulation flow for extremes, uh, as well as a calibration at seasonal level, for which few other graphs which I'll be mentioning, showing you later in this video, are also quite useful, which are also included in this Excel program. Point number 4 is related to the users of the GUI ArcSWAT for the SWAT model. As we know that ArcSWAT provides a very good component known as SWAT check that helps to check various processes, model processes output of SWAT. Uh, However, we have to, like, after each simulation, interchange from ArcSWAT, check the SWAT check module, and then again come back to our own Excel file, and it takes a lot of time. So what I've done over here is try to make a similar module for the hydrology check, like as shown in SWAT check. So everything is at the same place, and we don't have to spend our time clicking between the windows. One last point about the uh, modal output data analysis is that usually while using SWAT, we are checking only the hydro flow output of the model and calibrating the hydrograph. But if we are to uh, put the water balance output of the model into check, then we also ought to check the other components or the other model outputs from the model or the water balance components. So this portion that has also been considered in this Excel program and included. Apart from this calculation aspects of hydrological modeling, uh, the other very good component of this Excel program is that it consists of a lot of tips regarding hydrological modeling, tips on how to fit the several examples of issues that we get during hydrograph calibration, and which are the processes of the model to be targeted for parameter change. And lastly, one of the major problem or major hurdle that comes while working with SWAT and ARC SWAT is that we know which parameters to change, but although we know which parameters to change, we don't know where to go to change those parameters. So one of the section of this program also gives tips on what are the locations of the major parameters of SWAT as well. So that is also thought to be of quite quite useful for SWAT users. Okay, now going into the major part of this video tutorial, I'll first talk about the first sheet of this Excel file. It's called calculator, and this is the main sheet of this Excel program. Uh, I will just show you the different components of the sheet. Uh, this is the input part where we have to put the start and end times for the calibration and validation period of our hydrological modeling, and based on that we will get a hydrograph over this area. This is the major model calibration flow check area, and based on the calibration and validation date range, the model statistics for the calibration and validation will be listed over here. I have included the 6 most useful set of statistics for checking the hydrograph. The sections below the hydrograph correspond to the hydrograph. The graph statistics sections give the statistics corresponding to the range range that is shown depicted in the hydrograph. Uh, the graph controls helps to change the period for which you want to view or observe the hydrograph for. You can change between calibration period, validation period. Those things I'll show you later, demonstrate to you later. As well as you can also choose a particular year of interest that you want to see and make changes for, or you can also give a time range, a custom time range that you want to observe the hydrograph for, and for that particular time range those graph statistics will correspond. So these are different than the output section statistics, because the output section statistics are for the entire model period and will not change, whereas the graph statistics will change as per your options in the graph control. Uh, over here in the steps to use, if you cannot access this video, or in case you don't get this video tutorial, the user can just follow these steps in the manner that they are numbered. So they should be followed as 1 2 3 4 up to 7, and there are few notes as well. I won't be reading this now because I will be demonstrating all those in this tutorial directly. Overhead at the middle of the sheet there are two more sections, the additional discharge check section and the water balance check section. In this additional discharge check section, now it's empty, but once we put the data, the flow duration curve and the seasonal error plot will be visible. They can be used to calibrate the hydrograph in addition to the hydrograph itself. These three components, the hydrograph, the flow duration curve and the seasonal error plot, can be used for output of any model as long as you have the time series of the observed and simulated model flow. You can use these three graphs to visualize and calibrate the model. Whereas for SWAT, this sheet has got a few more components. The water balance check component shows the hydrological cycle and the model output values at each of the processes. Now it's empty. Once we put the data, they will come up over here and you can visualize that and try to find where is the issue with the model in terms of matching the hydrograph and as well as other components of the model as a whole. At the rightmost corner there is the additional variables check. This is also for SWAT users. SWAT gives us many model outputs apart from flow, so it is a good practice to calibrate the other outputs, or at least get a balance between the other model variables, which will make the hydrological modeling success even stronger. So this is the section for other variables other than the flow. There are 4 graphs that we can utilize to observe 4 variables at a time, and we can interchange between those variables. We have there are 19 options over here. They include not only water balance but also sediment variables as well as the water quality variable and the nutrient variables. So those are those are the main components of this calculator sheet. This particular figure is quite simple and easy to understand regarding hydrological model. I found this one at this particular link, and the credit goes to the Met Office. I think they published it on 2009. Okay, now let us move on and try out inputting some data and visualizing some graphs. Before doing that, be sure that your Excel is macro enabled, or this particular Excel file is when you open it, its macros are enabled because it is macro based program. If it is running fine, that means your macro is enabled. If you are not able to run it, then you will have to Google to see how to enable macros in Microsoft Excel. So now, getting on to inputting the data, first we have to input the date range for calibration and validation. We only have to input the dates on those green cells only, while the other parts get calculated by itself. For this particular example, the calibration starts from 2000, 1st January of 2000, and the validation starts from 1st January of 2004. So the end date of calibration is automatically calculated, and the model simulation runs are up to 10th of October of the year 2006. So those are input required in this input section. Now after this we have to go to the next sheet, the second sheet by the name of flow data. So once you click this sheet, over here we have to again input the uh, we have to input the data, observed and simulated time series continuous data over here. For this particular tutorial I have example data, so it starts from 1st January of 2000. So I'll just copy this from here and paste them as values over here. So the rest of the table are just pre-formulated cells. Now in this green cell in the date column we have to enter the starting date of the data, which is 1st of January of 2000, and now all the values in the tables are almost calculated. Now we go back to the first sheet calculator, and now we can see that the hydrograph is already over here. You can control the time range of the hydrograph from the graph control drop down menu. So if you want to view the entire model period, which is 7 years in this case, so we have got the hydrograph for the whole 7 years. And if you want to just see for the calibration period, the 4 years are over here, the validation period, the remaining 3 years are over here, and thus you can analyze the hydrograph if it's matching properly with the observed data or not. And accordingly the graph statistics also changes as you change the hydrograph. For example, if you go for a particular year, let's say 2002, you want to see the statistics for 2002, then you type 2002 over here and you choose the particular year option from the drop down menu, and so it shows the hydrograph with the time limit limited to 1st of January of 2002 to 31st of December of 2002, and the graph statistics also change, or they just correspond to whatever the hydrograph is displaying to you. Or if you want to give some custom time range, then you can enter the date. First enter the dates at those from and to cells, and then you can choose the custom time range to get the hydrograph for that particular time range. So that's regarding the hydrograph. Let me go back to the entire model period time range. Okay, now apart from the hydrograph check for the flow calibration, in order to analyze further with the help of few other graphs for checking the extreme and seasonal calibration, you have to come to this section and then press this button over here, the refresh 1 button. This button will get you your hydrograph from the data that you entered in those two graphs. Okay, so the one to the left is the flow duration curve, from which we can analyze how well the model simulation match the observed time series, and at those corners how well does it match with the extremes, the low flows and the extreme flows over here. Whereas in the graph to the right, this is the error plot graph, in which you can analyze or observe the difference between simulated and the output flow, the y-axis is the difference in the flow or the discrepancy. For this particular instance, it can be seen that in average most of the main core monsoon flow has been underestimated by the model as they have negative values, whereas the pre and the post monsoon period have overestimated. If we just change this time range of the hydrograph to a bit detailed one, for instance calibration, or let us go to a particular year, you can see that in the main monsoon season the red one or the model simulation has underestimated the flow, whereas in the pre-monsoon as well as slightly in the post-monsoon the model simulation has overestimated. So this gives you idea of the seasonal errors and helps you in changing the parameters of the model accordingly, so that the pre and the post monsoons can be controlled for to reduce the flow and increase the flow for the core monsoon area, or whatever the case that you have in your hydrograph. Now getting more SWAT specific, until now these three graphs could be used from the output of any model. You just have to give the observed and simulated time series and other modeling years information. You will get those three graphs and you can analyze the flow and calibrate the flow for the hydrological modeling of any model. But for SWAT, this Excel program has some more to offer. So for the remaining two sections, the water balance check and the additional variables check, we have to first go to the third sheet by the name of output.std. Output.std is a file, as you can see in this note 1, that is placed in txt in out folder of your SWAT project, and you have to first give the folder path to that output.std file. This particular file consists of the daily watershed average values of the model output, not only flow but other outputs as well, so that if we could extract this all the data up including the flow in this program, then we can analyze what is the variation of the other variables as well. So this program is capable of extracting those information, but for that you have to first give the folder path in step number 1. So for the folder path, I have already copied and pasted the output.std file over here. It is a .std extension file, but it can be opened with Notepad or other text editors. You don't have to change anything, just copy and paste in a folder that you want to work with. And so now I have to give the folder path to this file, so I'll just copy the location from here, copy, and then paste it over here. And then the step number 2 is to just pressing this sort button, and it will extract the data of this output.std file in the required time series format. If you check the output.std file in a text editor, then you will see that it is a formatted output file, but it consists of lot of other information that we don't need. The information that we need is the annual summary of watershed, and it has got this particular simulation was carried out for 8 years. The first year was the warm-up period, so the data output of warm-up period is not present over here, while from the second year the daily data output of the model variables over here, precipitation, surface discharge, lateral flow, groundwater flow, and many major model outputs are uh, found over here, but this is also not in a continuous time series, and it is for each particular year, and we get interruption by other unrequired information. So this particular by pressing this particular button, you will be able to get all those average watershed average daily values of those variables automatically in this sheet, and then you will be able to observe uh, the variables from the calculator sheet again. So I'm pressing this button. It will take like about 5 seconds. So now all the data has been extracted to this sheet already. Okay, so now we go back to the calculator sheet, or the main working sheet of this program, and now we can press this refresh button. But before that, you may see that the graphs for the additional variables are already plotted over here. So this is precipitation. You can change it to another thing as well. Evaporation, soil water, water yield, or anything else that you want to see, and the graph will change accordingly. So you can compare the variables with the help of this four graphs. And 1.2 note over here is that the time range of the graph is as same as the one that you order from the graph control. For example, this one was for particular year 2002. If we go for the 4 years of the calibration period, then all of those graphs will also have the same corresponding time range. So you can compare between the other variables as well as the flow over here in the hydrograph. Now we can press this refresh button for getting the values regarding the water balance check in this figure. Those four graphs were time series of variables like the hydrograph, whereas this one is annual watershed average of values. All the values are in millimeter. So once you press it, the values come automatically. So now it gives you idea of what are the quantities in of water movement in the catchment, and which one looks a bit overestimated, or which one looks a bit lower than what should it have been in reality. And depending upon that, you can change the parameters of those particular target processes and get a refined hydrograph and better success of in the hydrological modeling of SWAT using those additional graphs. And even if you are not using SWAT, you can use the hydrograph and these other two additional graphs to do your hydrological modeling, or the flow modeling from the hydrological model. So this is regarding the calculation and data visualization part of this Excel program. There are three more sheets that are included in this program, prepared mainly with the intent of giving useful information during hydrologic modeling. The first out of these three sheets is tips on hydrograph calibration. I found this from a PDF that I downloaded. If you search SWAT calibration techniques.pdf in Google or Google Scholar, then it gives you a PDF file which I believe is from the SWAT website itself. You can get the PDF directly by searching by yourself, but the main points of that PDF has already been included in this sheet It consists of various issues that we come across while calibrating the hydrograph, and what are the likely causes of those issues. There are four major issues presented over here. What are the likely causes, and what are their probable solutions, and in case of SWAT, what are the parameters that you should be looking for to change in each of those corresponding issue have been tabulated over here for convenience. I found this information quite helpful, and I believe that this would help others as well, so included this one in this program. The second out of those three uh, information sheets is information on how to use and interpret the statistics that we use in this Excel program. The statistics that we use are the national cliff efficiency, NSE, it's another version, a modified version, NSE relative, RSR, R square, the modified version of R square or the weighted R square, WR square, and P bias. Um, for three examples of hydrograph issues, it shows which indicators should be looked for and referred for which part of the hydrograph, and which part of the hydrograph does each of these indicator neglect, so that we should take help of other more suitable indicators in that case. So for each of the case, it describes a bit briefly on which indicators show the matching portion, whereas which indicators show the error portion or the mismatch portion of the hydrograph. So on the basis of this, we should use, I believe that we should use this provided values, calculated values for each simulation for hydrological modeling. I hope this is of help to you. The reference again in this case is a very good paper on comparison of the statistics for evaluating hydrological model by Krauss and his friends in 2005. You can refer directly to that article as well. And the last sheet of this program is information on uh, this is particularly for SWAT users, information on where to find the SWAT parameters. There are a lot of SWAT parameters that we have to play with during hydrological modeling, and uh, it is really painful to open the input-output document of SWAT each time and find your parameter to know where it is located in the ArcSWAT GUI. So in order to make it easy, I have copy-pasted the information from the SWAT input-output documentation. So that is the source. The major parameters have been copied over here. The parameters are on the left, while their location or the process files are on the right. So I hope this helps to save some time and maintain your motivation while performing model calibration. So friends, that's it. I hope you have a successful, useful time utilizing this Excel program that I prepared. If it really helps you out in your research or in your thesis work, research work, don't forget to cite my work. The citation is provided over here. Any comments or constructive criticism for improving this work, or anything that is missing over here, or anything that should not be over here, all the comments are welcome. And please stay tuned to my ResearchGate profile for updates on this program. It's different, it's newer versions, as well as uh, other useful codes and programs. So that's the end of this video tutorial. I hope you had a nice time going through this video, and happy modeling.